see the difference now.
My
I hadn't
my
looked.
point with the John Dee thing is like royal families, even since ancient times, have always had their priesthoods and psychics that were able to divinate for them, which is basically, get higher knowledge, get insight into things, even remote view and spy on distant places and people. And Ingo Swann is actually the person that coined the term remote viewing. He was one of the first people that in the modern day was able to travel out of his body and look at anywhere in the universe. And he would do it as like a parlor trick at first until intelligence agencies got a hold of him and was like, teach us how to do this stuff. And he turned it into a science and basically was able to teach a bunch of military people how to do it. And then later it got into society, and now there's a bunch of different remote viewing organizations around the world that do it for scientific purposes. But that just goes to show this is the knowledge that we lost during the witch burning times, and it's now coming back. Pretty interesting.
I agree.
Hey Roger, is this the main chat for this event, or do you have a different one?
This is the main one. What I do is I usually... Let me put that thing down. What I usually do is this is the main one. What I usually do is I record it, and then I turn around and I share it on other platforms, so that it'll happen later on at the time, but this is coming straight off of mine. So is that the way what you wanted to hear?
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure I'm sharing my information in the right chat.
Yeah, this is
I've got a few more books coming.
Yeah, we can get that. See, after Gypsy goes off, there's no more access to it. But since I know it's in Roger's chat, I'm good.
She's good at making sure all that happens. Like I'll get on here, man, and all of a sudden she's like making sure everybody on all the other platforms know that the show's coming on and stuff. So now, the thing that really caught my mind in the research that I did was with Jacob Schiff. Okay, a lot of people connect him a lot with the Rothschilds, which, don't get me wrong, he was their what do they call it, where he worked underneath them and trained. But anyhow, when he was younger, he did work under them. But he moved away from Germany and he traveled to America. And when he traveled to America, that's where he started his business in New York, okay? And he started getting hooked up with the Warburg family. Now, the reason why I want to mention the Warburg family is because freaking the Warburg family actually helped a lot of the generals and the Tsar of Germany during World War I, and helped them with their finances while they were fighting against us and everybody in the Allied forces, you know. This was in my opinion, the worst of both the wars, because they were using chemical warfare back then and killing people. Well, this man, after it happened, you know, and all of a sudden freaking the Nazis are coming around and, you know, making things a little unhappy for the Jews, he decides that he needs to get up and go. Now, you'd think that this man should have been a war criminal, right? No, he wasn't. What the United States do? They let him move to freaking New York. And the reason why they let him do it was because he was rich and powerful, you know? So, the thing that started there, okay? So you had the Warburgs in America. Then you have Jacob Schiff coming over. He marries into the Warburg family, and next thing you know, the Federal Reserve, okay, is started because of the Warburgs. The first, I would say, the chairman of the Federal Reserve for the commission was actually a Warburg. He was one of the younger ones. Jacob Schiff was responsible for financing the Japanese-Russian war, which nobody seems to know about. Okay, but that was actually what caused the decline of the Tsar of Russia. It caused it to where frickin' the communists could frickin' finally take over Russia and create the Soviet Union. And that all started because of Jacob Schiff, you know.
Is it with the Federal Reserve? Whenever you had certificates for anything that you owned for had in the Federal Reserve, right? Like the money and stuff like that. It wasn't just cash that's given. You had to kind of like sign stuff for you to be able to for people to know that you have money within the Federal Reserve. Is that wrong? Is that not what I'm thinking of?
I don't even know if an actual individual could put money into the Federal Reserve. I know how the banks work with the Federal Reserve. But
we have money from the Federal Reserve, and it said Federal Reserve on there. Like you guys' money says, well, most money, all of ours that everyone uses, it says whatever says United States, blah blah blah. But our money says Federal Reserve on it.
Are you talking about bearer bonds?
No, it's money. It's money. Like 50 notes, $50. Yeah, and it says Federal Reserve on it. Mom had it. And she kept it like in a book and stuff. And yeah. But
no, see,
I was just asking.
The thing is that I know, like with a bank has to do all of their transactions through the Federal Reserve. Now, say if I go in and I freaking make a bank account for $20, okay? What they do is they take and they split that amount in half. $20 goes into my account legitimately, and what happens is they apply or $10 goes into my account, and the other $10 is held to the side for people who want to make loans. So say somebody wants to make a $10 loan. I know that it doesn't happen, but they turn around and they freaking make the loan for $10. They give them my $10.
And then they loan you $10 if you come to get it.
But
time that person hasn't paid it.
The key is when they pay it back, they have to give $20. So they turn around and they start paying.
And that goes to the bank. Yeah, you only get your 10 back.
To the bank.
Yeah, stocks and bonds.
They get the $10 back, but what they do is they take and they send that $10 to the Federal Reserve, and the Federal Reserve sends them $20 back. Okay, so now they got $20 that they made from my $10 and the $20 loan that they just freaking had paid off. Okay, so altogether they made $30 off of $10 of my $20. It's that crazy. So,
and it's just digital money, not created from anything.
Yeah.
It's not backed by anything.
I know, that's why it's gonna. Yeah.
So that's the craziest part about the Federal Reserve. And the Federal Reserve isn't even a government office. It's not. It's a non-government organization.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you got the IRS, non-government.
There's a good book on it called The Creature from Jekyll Island by Griffin.
Yeah, I know all about Jekyll Island. Nobody wants to hear about that either.
That's why I'm gonna call people Jekylls.
No, that was one aspect of it that really got my attention whenever I started getting into that, because like there's a lot of things that happen below the radar that was boring and nobody ever wanted to hear about, because oh my god, who wants to talk about economics, you know what I mean, or bankers, you know,
or who was allowed to listen, because see, it was some people are taught to stay in the kid's place or stay in your place.
It's open information today. Anybody
Now it
could.
is.
I mean, you can go to the library and pull this stuff up.
Now, not when this was being constructed. There was
No.
no information on something that had yet to exist. This information is way newer than the concept is. And while the concept was being developed under deceitful watches and intentions, then it's automatic that it's going to be filtered down as to how you learn about it. So you have to be able to come into an encounter with it through other avenues, or else you're going to have a swayed image. Because if I just read what was written about something that was already created to deceive me, I'm only going to be receiving a deceiver's perspective of what they would like for me to hear. But if I actually go out myself and look for the information as it's necessary, as it pertains, and as it's useful in order for me to distribute accordingly, then I'm going to be, and as well as the deceptor's perspective. Oh, wow, this is the truth about it, but this is what they write about it. This is what's really real, because I found it and I saw it. So once you do it yourself, you understand it. But once you're just being told about it, you're understanding someone else's understanding. You're actually, it's not your own understanding. And so then you're not able, how am I able to stand on your understanding? That doesn't even seem logical.
Well, I mean, you have to be you have to be realistic with yourself, okay? You're not gonna pull up information just out of the pure wind, you know what I mean? Okay, so
Right.
if you do have to freaking pull up information from somebody else's findings, at least be able to discern the true from the false.
Right. Or be willing to. Because
Yeah.
some people can do it, but they're like, I'm just going to stand on this in order to present my own deception now. Instead of and that's what the knowledge is presented for you to do as you must with it. But where's the ordinance at? You understand? Where's the universal law at?
It's like we were reading this first paragraph here, okay? And I told Robot straight out, I think it's a load of horseshit. And I see that kind of stuff all the time when it comes to Wikipedia. And then here recently, the reason why I don't use freaking Encyclopedia Britannica anymore is because of that episode that we had in one of our episodes before when
couldn't even find information.
Yeah, we were trying to find information, and it was just freaking seething with liberal bullshit. You know what I mean?
How do you feel about New World Encyclopedia? How do you feel about it? I just started utilizing it. I just wanted to know how you feel about it.
I don't even want to give a comment on any
I saw a
of it.
really interesting, because this whole issue is going to get worse, right? So even like Wikipedia has been polluted a lot. And I watched an interview by the guy who invented Wikipedia today, and he said they're busy building this new app that basically aggregates, because there's lots of different Wikipedias around the world. And they've aggregated about 50 of them into this app that basically pulls the data from like lots of different other encyclopedias around the world and draws it together. And that's their solution for like going forward, being able to meta aggregate information in order to be able to read more widely, more easily, you know. And that's the way I've always been able to discern information, is to just get as many perspectives as possible on the one thing, and then just listen to my intuition and see what I come up with.